So, why the one rankings suck? First, let's go on to the good things. One has grew a lot over the last 15 years. With over 30 divisions and multiple weight classes, 24 champions, and over 600 fighters, it's a fair thing to say it is doing increasingly well. With one, it's worth 1.3 billion, being the fourth highest valued combat sport promotion worldwide. And it's only making more and more money with income through coverage deals and sponsorships. The coverage deals coming outside of Asia and sponsorships like Fairtex and Monster. So it's fair to say it is raking in the money at the moment. So why do I think the rankings are a lot bigger of a problem than they should be? Well, there are 31 divisions and 24 champions. That means there's 600 contenders trying to fight for them belts. Now that sounds amazing. But these divisions are ranging from women's atomweight MMA to men's heavyweight Muay Thai. So how many of the 31 divisions are there actually present within the rankings on the website? 10. And there's no divisions like middleweight. There's no middleweight kickboxing, no middleweight Muay Thai. Right? There's divisions that are missing within the rankings that aren't even findable, right? Because one don't even have them yet. Overall, the whole website with these rankings is lazy. It's half-arsed, and it doesn't seem like they care too much with them. I mean, you look at it, one should be doing so much better than than it actually is at the moment, right? Everyone's a little bit of a casual every now and then where they go, oh, they don't like grappling. Well, that's fine. If you don't want to watch MMA or grappling, you can go and watch Muay Thai or kickboxing, right? Oh, some people sit there and say, okay, they don't want to watch the striking aspects. They only want to watch the grappling. Well, that's fine. One have submission grappling. If you want to watch a mix of both, right, because it's a more complete style, they have MMA. One have everything that people want, and they leave nothing else to be desired, right? So what is going wrong? For me, the rankings, right? This is all copy and paste this part, just so you can see what they say here. One Championship's official athlete rankings are determined by an independent panel of sports media members and industry experts. Sounds bloody good at the moment. Industry experts, perfect. The amount of times I've heard people call for judges and call for referees to be industry experts so that there's not as many bad decisions. And in one, there's not too many bad decisions. The panel ranks athletes on criteria including wins and losses, their most recent performances, and quality of competition. Now, the quality of competition within one is very high, no matter where you look, right? Because everyone's an ex-champion. Everyone did really well on their regional scene to get to one, right? It should be mainly done on wins and losses. If you lose, you can't be rewarded. Overall, there's a lack of transparency with how a fighter is placed in the division. Right, for example, Tagir Kalilov is number 5 ranked flyweight kickboxer, even though he's lost in the last 2 years 2 times to people who aren't even ranked, and every one of his fights have been in Muay Thai apart from his first one, which was in kickboxing. John Lineker, the number 1 bantamweight MMA contender, hasn't fought in MMA in over a year. And when he did fight, it was a loss. His last fight was, but he's still the number 1 contender in MMA. This division's a massive one for me, which I just think is not ranked properly. Number 2, Stephen Lohman in the bantamweight. Stephen Lohman, right? He's been the ranked 2 contender. He hasn't fought since 2023, and he hasn't won since 2022. The fighter hasn't won in 3 years, and he's ranked the 2nd contender. Then you've got Artem Belak, who's out of the top 5 bantamweight MMA, even though he beat Barter-Q in 2024 and he hasn't lost since. So he beat the number 4th ranked bantamweight MMA contender, and he's not even getting spoke about, and he got kicked out of the rankings, even though there's fighters who haven't won since 2022 in the rankings above him. Then you have fighters who are like Shadow, who went 4-1 last year, even beating Sitachai, who was ranked number 4 within the featherweight division, right? And within his whole one career, if I'm correct, he's 10-2. So how is he not even ranked yet when there's fighters within that division who have lost shite tons more than he has? Like, I like Luke Lacey, but Luke Lacey going 2-1 is less impressive than Shadow going 10-2. Sitachai, if I'm correct, is on a 2 losing streak, but he's ranked above Shadow, even though Shadow beat him. This is my point. They're not ranked on win or loss as much as people want to say. But how would I fix the rankings? First off, include all 31 divisions that one currently have. There's no reason not to. If people say that one has 600 fighters, and that was said by Chatri in 2022, 3 years ago he had 600 fighters, so now he probably has even more. Why can't you do a 31 division fucking rankings? I understand, oh, that's loads of divisions, too much. You have a big website, you're one of the best in the world, you should be pulling on every division to show respect to fighters and to show transparency to fans so they know what is going on within the divisions, right? And if a fighter wants to fight in more than one division, they can, but they have to stay active within it. For example, Rodtang fought in kickboxing and Muay Thai last year and won both. So he's the number 1 contender in Muay Thai and kickboxing. That's fair. How else would I fix it? Why on earth are we only ranking the top 5? The top 5 does not show a big demographic or a lot of transparency, right? Personally, they have to do what UFC do. They have to increase it to a top 10 or a top 15, right? And yeah, like I said, fighters can be in more than one division, or else you can have 310 fighters ranked. But that's what you should be doing. If you have this massive promotion, you should be doing a top 10 for each division, right? It makes sense. How else would I fight it? Going to the point 1, fighters need to be active to be ranked. And I know one has struggled with fighters' activity and getting fights due to contracts and other things, right, where people have fucking fell out with them for it. But some people are ranked and they haven't won since 2022, right? And that's terrible. Fighters have to stay active within their own division, and if they want to cross a division, they have to stay active in both. But at the moment, there's people who are ranked who are even active within one division, let alone 2 divisions. And this is what my thought was they have to fight at least once a year in that division, or they start losing their ranking. Right? Because it's not fair if you have a kickboxer or a Thai fighter who's going, I don't know, 15-3 within one, and they're ranked lower than somebody who's 10-10, but they're going across from Muay Thai and kickboxing, so they can't lose the ranking. Right? If you lose, you go down. Right? It has to be about winning and losing nowadays as well. Like I said, everyone within one is a high level fighter. No one is terrible. A win is impressive, a loss is understandable, but it shouldn't be rewarded just because you lost to someone good. Now, this is my bigger thing at the moment. One is so much harder to predict fights for, and I've said it before. I could sit here and predict a one fight, and genuinely, it's a 50-50 with every decision, and I might do terrible one week. With the UFC, it's pretty clean cut on who's winning, right? It is very clean cut. With one, it's not so easy because everyone is such a high level. So if they win, they should get rewarded. And the last thing I would do, hire a bloody team. I understand using experts from fucking Muay Thai kickboxing and all these different rankings from all these different websites and media, right, is a good idea. I understand. But you have to have a team. This has to be something that has to be fixed within the next year, personally, right? For me to sit there and see one growing, I'm not going to say one's going to die out, but the rankings do matter to a lot of fans. They like to look at the rankings. They get to see who the underdog of favourites is, and they get to root for who they think is going to do good, right? You're able to click on the fighter and see when their next fight is, right? That's a massive thing to people who are busy and they want to sit there and start getting into fighting, right? Getting into one, and that's impressive. You have to start doing that. At the moment, one isn't doing it, right? We don't know what fights make the most sense, right? Because we don't. Like, there's numerous champions you could sit there and bloody have, and you don't know who their next fight's going to be against, right? Superbon, what is it? Flyweight kickboxing. Who's he going to defend that against? Who's he defending against next? Right? You don't know because there's no ranking for it. That's the problem, right? When you don't have a rankings, you can't see who deserves anything. Make the rankings, make them top 10 for each 31 divisions so we can see who deserves what. That's how I would fix the rankings, right? And I reckon it will bring a lot more fans to the sport as well, right? That's how I would fix the One Championship rankings. If you have any other ideas on how they could fix the rankings, leave it below in the comments.